Outdoor racing season is here, and with it, 8th scale and some 10th scale outdoor tracks are opening back up for the summer. To those of you who are new to RC racing and want to go to your local outdoor track for the first time, you've come to the right place. In this video, I'll be going over everything you might need or want to bring to an outdoor RC racetrack. Before we begin, keep in mind I'm mainly talking about 8th scale racing here, although if you live in a place that runs 10th scale outdoors like Florida, then these basic tips will help you out as well with some nuance. I'd also like to thank the sponsors of this channel, A-Main Hobbies, Cow RC, RC Trophy Chasers, and Peach State Hobbies. Anything you guys purchase using the links in the description below will directly support me as well. With that out of the way, let us begin. Let's start with all the things that would be considered essential but not fully RC related. These are items that pretty much everyone who goes to an outdoor track with any real frequency will own. The first and most basic is a large foldable table, or if you're disorganized like me, or have a lot of stuff to bring along, like me, multiple large foldable tables. There are plenty of places you can get different tables from different places, and different prices. I bought mine at the Home Depot for an amount of money I completely forgot as it was years ago, but that goes to show you just how a lot of these purchases I'm going to mention will be one-time investments. Depending on what else you plan to bring to the track, you may also want to get a smaller stable to store different items that I will mention later in this video. The next thing I will mention will be something else very simple, a foldable chair. Standing all day outdoors in the blazing heat or freezing cold isn't good for your feet or lower back unless you're wearing weightlifting shoes, and even then it's not fully recommended. I hear this at other convention types events like Warhammer 40k tournaments, that people have to physically and audibly remind themselves to sit down every once in a while, and that really applies here too. As such, getting a nice high quality folding chair will save you many aspirin and chiropractic visits. The last basic thing not related to electronics will of course be some kind of canopy tent. This one isn't entirely 100% necessary, but living in an area where the sunlight can raise the temperature by almost 15 degrees Fahrenheit, having some kind of shade will help you out a lot. Again, getting a quality canopy tent will really help here, as like the other two items I mentioned in this section, this will more than likely be a one-time or one-time every 7-year type purchase. All of these things can be bought at your local hardware store pretty easily, like Home Depot or Lowe's if you're a square. Relating to more accessories, the extension cords. There are so many extension cords out there that you can buy for varying budgets, but generally you want something that has multiple splits and a very long cord. Generally, outdoor tracks will have outlets that you can daisy chain off without much issue, so if you find an outlet that works, go from there. Now, not all outdoor tracks will have outlets available throughout the property. There are some other higher end things you can buy for your race day to make it more comfortable, so why don't we talk a little bit about those. First up, we have the portable generator. Portable being an adjective in this scenario. There are varying shapes and sizes of generators out there that can run you for anything from $400 to well over $1,000. To be honest, this one is only really necessary if your local track doesn't have easy access to outlets, or you like to travel a lot and want one just in case. Another big thing for lots of outdoor and even some indoor races relates to air compressors. Once again, this is something that's sometimes supplied by the track and sometimes it's not. Now, there are personal air blowers that you can carry on like this or this, but generally an air compressor will do the job better than either of these. Once again, this pertains to your budget, how much you're willing to spend on some random stuff to make your life at the track marginally easier. If you have, quite simply, too much money, you can also spend it on a trailer to take with you to different tracks around the country. Now, this may seem a bit excessive depending on how far into RC you are, but trust me when I say a lot of racers will invest heavily into their trailers to make the racing experience that much easier. Lots of time these trailers will be completely decked out with AC, tables, TVs, and many other things I'm probably forgetting. You can pick up a trailer of a decent size for a variety of prices, of less than 10 grand to about 80 grand. Now, don't get me wrong, you do not need a trailer in order to run an RC car race. All the essential stuff I mentioned in the previous section with tables, cables, and foldable canopies are plenty for pretty much anyone and everyone, including me. Trailers are just a luxury. Now that we got some of the essentials and really expensive stuff out of the way, why don't we go over some RC specific gear that can make your racing experience easier. First up is the tire washing machine. Now, when it comes to outdoor racing, probably the most tiresome and tedious part of the whole thing is cleaning your tires. Tire washing jigs make this much easier, and to my knowledge there are 3 different types you can buy right now. 2 of them are pretty cheap, relatively speaking, and one is much more expensive, but much more intricate. Let's start with the cheaper, simpler ones. The Easy Clean and the TTB PowerLab RC tire washer are fairly similar in construction, with the Easy Clean seemingly a little bit more intricate in design and higher in quality. which of course is reflected in the cost. The TTB is around $55 on eBay, and the Easy Clean is about $80 depending on what you get on your particular car, or Easy Clean. Both can accommodate multiple different sizes, from 10 scale buggy to 8 scale truggy, and like I said, both operate in a very simple way. You fill the inside of the jig with a certain amount of cleaning solution of your choosing, then use an electric drill to spin the wheel inside the tire cleaner. After a few seconds of spinning and some brushes on the inside, out will come a clean tire. Now, if you want a more intricate piece of kit, or you want something that can clean your tires a bit better and faster, then you have a drop-in RC tire washer. The RC drop-in tire washer, which I will now simply refer to as the Orange Box, is a much larger unit than the Easy Clean or TTB. This is for good reason, as the design of the Orange Box is much more intricate than the other two, using an electric water pump to spray high-pressure water onto the tire as it spins on the inside of the Orange Box. Once again, with help from an electric drill and a small 3S battery with a Dean's connector. How much does the Orange Box cost? $256. Yes, it is a lot, but after seeing one up close, I can say it is a really high quality product that does its job exponentially well. Again, how much you're willing to spend will entirely depend on how much money you have in your bank account and whether or not you want to wash your tires by hand. My personal advice? The Easy Clean is a happy medium between quality and price point, so that would be my recommendation. Just make sure to clean it out every time you use it, or every time you're done racing. None of this stuff is going to be useful if you don't have a way to actually store it, haul it around, and keep it organized. Now, this was an admission on my part, but I'm not exactly an organized person all the time. The best way I can describe my setup is organized chaos, so a lot of this stuff I personally don't have. One thing I personally do have is a very large bag like this gym bag I got from a family member who used to serve. Now, it doesn't need to be an army bag, it can be literally any bag you can think of as long as it's sufficient size and quality. One very popular bag for RC cars is this Ogio bag that you can find on multiple sites including A-Main Hobbies, link in the description below. Thing is though, I can only really recommend this if you either have too much money or are traveling a lot for RC, as this will protect your bag from the wrath of underpaid airline bag carriers. If you don't travel too much via airline or simply don't have $300 to spend on a bag, then going with a regular gym bag isn't the end of the world. Another thing that people use to organize their stuff, particularly tires, would be a plastic bin. Not much to really say here, just make sure it's not too small to where you can't store the tires, but make sure it's not too big to where it's too unwieldy to carry around and the tires bounce around all the place. The best type of bins I've personally seen for this job would be very wide but short bins that are clear, and you can find these types of bins all over the place, from Walmart to the place where you can find what you're looking for. Continuing on with the tire organization, we have tire sticks. These are also pretty self-explanatory, as they are plastic sticks that hold a set of tires together. These are usually for 8-scale buggy and truggy wheels and tires, and are also pretty cheap for the most part. Combine this with some kind of bin, or the next thing we're going to go over, and you can organize your stuff pretty well. If you don't want to use those sticks though, you can also use freezer bags, as oddly, they are perfect for RC 8-scale buggy tires. Hell, you can even write on them if you so wish with this little spot right here, and because they're sealed, they will keep the rubber fresh for longer, if you have lost the initial box or initial bag that you got the tires in the first place. The next thing is this, basically an elaborate toolbox. This particular one my dad bought, I have no idea when, probably sometime when we moved down here to Georgia, which would have been sometime after 2007, which is when the Source engine became public knowledge, or public domain I think. Whether or not Stanley still makes this particular model anymore, I don't think they do, but if you want something like this, then there are some options out there that you can buy, once again, from the place where you can find what you're looking for. The last few things I wish to mention are pretty mundane, don't require as much explanation, but are just as important to grab your first track day. Chief among them would be a parts organizer, like a screw organizer box or really any section box. Next up would be a cooler for different fluids, not for your car, but for you. Race days and practice days can last a long time, so if you want to stay good and ready to race in Marshall, drink water. Or beer if you want, you're over 21, probably. Last we have the good old-fashioned boots. Most boots will work, but something higher quality that will last a lot of abuse, walking and standing in dirt will work well. Now, there's probably some stuff I missed that I may have gone over in another video or plan to go over in another video in the future, But if not, why don't you tell me about it? Let me know in the comment section below so anyone who's new to RC and watching this video can see them and hopefully not forget anything important. Also, if you are new, be sure to hit the like button and sub to the channel if you'd like to see more. I know I've been gone for a while, but hopefully I can upload a little bit more often during the outdoor season. Also, if you'd like to support me another way, there's also my Patreon. Speaking of which, I'd like to thank my active patrons Michael Williams, RC World Discord server, Dave Armstrong, Rob Bedingfield, Caden Merks, Ian Petrie, Buddy Howell, Jeffrey Coons, Shane T. Ruth, Gable Barber, and especially Morrison Watt. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.